Dear all, Autism Learning Materials Supermarket is an autism community project implemented by NBAI, AI for Autism, Job4autism, and Mr. Lam Duong Lee to provide authentic and updated 24/7 documents, thanks to artificial intelligence, for parents with children with autism and related disorders, specialized teachers, inclusive teachers, and therapists. Today, we would like to introduce video number 55, The New Frontier of Therapy.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about something you probably never thought you'd hear in the same sentence. Cutting-edge AI, traditional American bluegrass music, and therapy for children with autism. It sounds wild, I know, but we're going to explore how artificial intelligence is actually learning to compose music, not for a concert hall, but for a really personal, really important reason.
I mean, it really does sound like something out of a sci-fi movie, right? But this is the big question researchers are tackling. Can a robot, can a piece of code really write a song that helps a child? A song with the right structure, the right feel, the right nuance to actually make a therapeutic difference? That's the core of what we're digging into.
All right, so to really get why this could be so revolutionary, first we got to talk about the human side of things. We have to start with the proven power of music therapy. You know, for kids with autism spectrum disorder, neurologists talk about this thing called the golden period. It's this really crucial window in the early years, usually before age 3, when the brain is just incredibly plastic, incredibly changeable. And any therapy, any intervention during this time, it has a massive impact. We're talking better long-term outcomes, more independence. The bottom line is, getting the right therapy and getting it early, well, it can literally change a child's entire life. And that's where music therapy steps in. And look, this isn't just about singing songs to feel good. This is a real, science-backed intervention. You can see it right here. It helps with communication, social skills, emotional control, even memory. But check out that last point, because this is the kicker. It can actually change the brain on a physical level. It's been shown to reduce something called brain hyperconnectivity, a common challenge for folks with ASD, and improve cognitive control. That's huge. So what's the secret sauce? Why does music work so well? Well, it comes down to this core idea. If you imagine the world can sometimes feel chaotic and overwhelming, music is like a safe harbor. It's structured, it's predictable. The rhythm, the patterns, they create this reliable sensory experience that's just so calming and organizing for the brain. That predictability, it's everything. Okay, so we know that structured music is a fantastic therapeutic tool. Great. But here's the million-dollar question. How do you get that perfect, personalized music to every child who needs it? How do you scale it? And that brings us to the how part of this story, and a really tough test for our AI. So before you can teach an AI music, you have to decide how it's going to see it. And there are basically 2 ways. Think of it like baking a cake. You've got symbolic representation, which is the recipe. It's your sheet music, your MIDI file. It has all the ingredients and instructions, the notes, the timing. It's great because you can easily change things. Then you have audio representation. That's the finished cake, the MP3. It's the final product, exactly what you hear. But try taking the eggs out of a cake that's already baked. It's way harder to edit. And for therapy, that recipe approach is gold because it lets the therapist make tiny adjustments on the fly. So why bluegrass of all things? Well, because it's an absolutely perfect test for an AI. This is not simple stuff. You've got this driving offbeat rhythm, syncopation. You've got the iconic banjo picking, the fiddle, the mandolin, and of course that unmistakable high lonesome sound in the vocals. An AI can't just copy a melody here. It has to understand how all these incredibly complex and culturally rich pieces fit together. It's a huge challenge. Yeah, okay, so maybe an AI can learn the notes and the rhythms. That's a technical problem. But this leads to a way deeper question, doesn't it? Can an AI ever truly understand the feeling, the soul, the history baked into that high, lonesome sound? And this is where we start to hit a wall with the tech as it exists today. Right. This brings us to the ghost in the machine. The very real problems we run into when we ask an AI to stop being a technician and start being an artist. And here's the biggest hurdle, the emotional one. You know when you listen to music made by an AI, people often say it sounds robotic, soulless, almost too perfect? See, as humans, we connect with the little imperfections, the slight waver in a singer's voice, the tiny shifts in timing. That's what makes it feel alive, feel human. And when that's gone,
we notice it just feels off. And then you've got a huge technical issue, a memory problem. A lot of these AI models can create a pretty good piece of music for about 30 seconds. That's it. After that, they just lose the plot. It all starts to fall apart. And for therapy, where you need to keep a child engaged for minutes at a time, 30 seconds is a total non-starter. It's a deal breaker. So let's just recap the big struggles here. The AI can't hold a musical idea for very long. It completely misses the emotional core. Your big general AI models, they have no idea what to do with a niche genre like bluegrass. And on top of all that, you run the risk of it just copying something it learned, or even worse, it just stops. It collapses into silence. It's just not reliable enough yet.
But look, these problems aren't the end of the story, not at all. They're just puzzles waiting to be solved. And researchers are coming up with some seriously smart ways to build a better, more capable AI musician.
Okay, so one of the coolest solutions is this technique called LoRa. It's a total game changer. So instead of trying to build a giant AI model from the ground up, which takes forever and costs a fortune, you do something much smarter. You take a big general model that already exists and you just show it a little bit of specialized data, like say just 15 minutes of bluegrass music. Then LoRa works its magic, efficiently tweaking just a tiny, tiny part of that huge model. And the result? It's incredible. You get a custom model that really gets bluegrass, and you can train it on a normal, consumer-grade computer. This makes the whole thing so much more accessible to everyone. But, and this is a huge but, making a better AI isn't just about the tech. There's this massive ethical question at the heart of it. On the one hand, for the AI to be really, truly helpful and personalized, it needs data. A lot of data. What music does a child respond to? What are their emotional reactions? But on the other hand, we're talking about children, and we're talking about incredibly sensitive, private, therapeutic data. Their right to privacy is non-negotiable. And figuring out how to balance the AI's need for data with a child's right to privacy, that's maybe the single biggest challenge in this whole space. So what's the solution? How do we move forward with this responsibly? Well, the answer isn't to get rid of the humans. It's the opposite. It's about putting the most important human, the therapist, right at the center of everything. And this is maybe the most important takeaway from all the research. Everyone agrees on this. Researchers, ethicists, everyone. The AI is a tool. It's there to assist the therapist, to support them. It is not a replacement, because that human connection, that clinical expertise, that empathy, you just can't code that. It's indispensable. So the path forward is actually pretty clear. The goal isn't just to make good AI music. It's to empower therapists. That means we don't just fine-tune an AI to make bluegrass. We fine-tune it to make calming bluegrass or joyful bluegrass, music designed to achieve a very specific therapeutic goal. It means we have to invest in creating safe, private, ethical datasets. And it means building tools that feel intuitive for a therapist, giving them control in the moment. The future here isn't about AI versus humans. It's about a partnership. Which leaves us with one last, kind of mind-bending thought to chew on. We've talked all about this ghost in the machine, this struggle for AI to capture real human feeling. But this technology is moving forward at an absolutely dizzying speed. So you have to ask yourself, what happens? What happens to therapy? What happens to art? What happens to, well, us, when that ghost in the machine finally learns how to feel?
Autism Learning Materials Supermarket would like to thank parents, teachers, and interventionists. Please disseminate to relevant people in the autism community so that more and more people can access this authentic and scientific learning resource. To raise awareness in the community, please subscribe to watch the next videos. For any questions, please contact the email below.